I want to go where culture is,
But
like
how
New
in the
York,
world did I raise such a
or at least
snob?
Connecticut or New Hampshire,
Well,
where
you
writers
couldn't
live in the
get
woods.
into those schools anyway.
Mom,
You can't even pass your driver's test.
because you wouldn't let me practice
The way
enough.
that you work, or the way that you don't work, you're not even worth state tuition, Christine.
My name is Ladybird.
Well, actually, it's not, and it's ridiculous.
Call me
because your name
Ladybird
is
like
Christine.
you said you would.
You should just go to City College. You know, with your work ethic, just go to City College and then to jail, and then back to City College, and then maybe you'd learn to pull yourself up and not expect everybody to do everything.
You grew up in Sacramento. You went to a Catholic school around the same time. This is set around 2002, 2003. Yeah. But this is not your story, right?
Well, it's the heart of the movie is very close to my heart, but actually the character of Ladybird is really, it's almost the opposite of who I was. I was much more of a rule follower and a kind of people pleaser. And when I wrote the character, I had this character who made everyone call her by a different name and dyed her hair bright red and was kind of courageous and out there. And I really feel like it was on the page, but then it wasn't until Saoirse invented it in front of me that it feels like this sort of collaboration of like, we made this girl together that's not either of us, but somehow, you know, speaks to something true.
You know what I only realized, until after we made the film, that I never questioned why she called herself Ladybird. It was near the end of the shoot, and I realized that I hadn't actually asked the question, because as soon as you start to read this story and this character comes to life, which by the way she did even on the page, and it definitely was a team effort, but like we were given so much just in the script from the off. It was so bright and full of life already.
In a way, it's her weird rock star name, and also that it does two things. It's both this supreme confidence in herself, and also it means that she thinks that who she is on her own is not good enough, which is an interesting dichotomy, and it's sort of like becoming who you already are.
The script that Greta crafted is so full of nuance and detail, and all we had to do was come to the set and be guided by her through these moments. We only see the mother and daughter during this brief period of time in their lives where they're really butting heads. They've not always been like that, and they won't always be like that, but it's the only glimpse into their lives that we see. And so we knew we had to modulate these fights and then make them all a little different, have different trigger points to each one of them. And then Greta also threw in the moments of peace and support and where mother and daughter can have a lovely Christmas morning together, and it says so much more because you've just seen them at odds so much. But it was a joy to work with Greta and Saoirse. It was a wonderful time on the set.
You purposefully set this post 9/11, and there was a reason for that?
Well, I wanted to, it is actually a bit after I was in high school. I wanted it to be in the post 9/11 world because we just experienced this national trauma, and sort of collectively, it was sort of a way to talk about now without setting it now, because all these things that we're living through now were present and rising then. We were in the war in Afghanistan, we were getting into the war in Iraq. The internet was coming in what it became, but it wasn't really there yet. The erosion of the middle class, which is, continued, and it's sped up after that moment, and what was coming. And I felt like I didn't want to shoot smartphones or screens. And I don't know how you make a movie about now without doing that. It's very hard. And it felt like it had some distance, and it had some seed of what was yet to come. And it felt like a lens to look at something